Hey y'all. This is my 1 month-ish update on the Wallstead tank, or the dirted tank, which is, ta-da, looks like the Boston Harbor after the Boston Tea Party. Um, that is what happens when you don't sieve out the wood chips from your potting soil, I do believe. That's what I'm being led to believe anyway. It's the soil, potting soil that I used had a whole bunch of little bitty wood chips. And if you remember from my first video, I did sit there and try to sieve it out and got frustrated partway through because it was taking forever. And I was not about that. And I didn't want to sit there forever and a day and sieve dirt. So I didn't, and I just dumped the whole thing in, and now it looks like I have a tank full of tea. The fish don't seem bothered by it at all. The pH is normal. The nitrates are super low. The ammonia is practically non-existent. My water is still a little bit hard, but actually putting in the piece of driftwood from the old tank, after about a week or so, it seems to have actually lowered the hardness of my tank, and I'm not quite sure why. I'm not going to complain, but I'm not sure why driftwood would lower it. The plants are doing pretty good. Everything is covered in a layer of dirt, though, because the bristlenose, apparently they burrow. I didn't know that. And this particular one has never burrowed before. And I have this flat rock in there that I use for when I'm water changing, for something to aim at so I don't disturb the gravel and the soil. And that plant is shot to shit because it has burrowed under the rock. Because normally in my 10-gallon, which if I lean the right way, which is right here, sorry, I'm doing this backwards, and letting it dry out, and I'm actually probably going to gift it to one of my old coworkers because she wants to have a fish tank. I'm just letting it dry out because I've tried to clean it. But the bristlenose didn't burrow. It got under the driftwood. Granted, the driftwood is a bit curved, so chances are it was fine with that, especially when the moss that was growing on it kind of grew down. It doesn't seem to do that. I trimmed it all back, but it doesn't seem to feel that's sufficient enough in this tank. I'm not sure why, but so it's decided that it's going to burrow under my nice big rock and kick up more dirt and perlite that I have to skim off the water surface. I have right at the water's edge. Like every time I do a water change, I have to get some paper towels and wipe it down all around the edge of the tank because it's just that perlite stuff. And there is, I did mention before that I goofed by putting too much water in the soil before I started adding everything into it. On the subject of that, I've learned now one of the things that I should have done is get the soil wet and do like you do when you get like sand or gravel from the pet store. You rinse it and you drain it, and you rinse it and you drain it. And part of the reason I say that is because when I put in the plants, because the hair grass that I have in there now, which I don't think is a dwarf hair grass, it's huge. It said it was dwarf hair grass, but it's like this tall. But when I was putting that in, I started getting bubbles popping up, and it's like, I know that's not good. So every time I go into the tank, I kind of push down on things a little bit, and every time I have little I get air bubbles coming up from the gravel on the soil. So, fun times. Learn from my mistake. Rinse your soil really well. Dry it. Rinse it again. then put it in your tank while it's still a little bit moist, then put the gravel on it, and then add in the soil, or the water. Yeah, soil, gravel. Actually, probably do a little bit of plants there as well at that time because everything's nice and moist. A little bit of water just to make things kind of stick together. Then do your plants. Then add the rest of your water, and then wait a month or so before you put in your fish. No one's sick, no one's dying, no one's dead, except for the shrimp, but they died in the last tank because they were 2 years old and at the end of their lifespan, which is better than dying because you got put into a new tank. And I'm sure some people are pointing to the correct area of the screen. I'm sure people have noticed the filter on the back or on the side of the tank. The reason I have a filter, even though in the first video I said this was going to be a low maintenance tank, a low tech tank, is I don't know if it's the soil I used or what, but if I let the water sit, it gets this film over the top of it and it looks like an oil slick, and the only way to get rid of it is to have the filter. Eventually I will learn to point to the correct area of the screen without looking. Today is not that day. So yeah, that's the tank, and I'm gonna post pictures and whatnot. Because I don't have the pictures up on my screen just at the second. If you notice, when you're looking at it, you'll notice a couple of them have wonky fins. That is not because I put them in this tank. It is because in the other tank, my 10-gallon, that will be gifted to a friend, they got sick. They got stuck under an ornament. A couple of them got stuck under an ornament and they had wounds. I bought Melifix because I'm poor, and I read somewhere that, oh yeah, that totally works. No, it doesn't. Don't buy Melifix. Don't do it. I put that in and their fins melted off. I will never use Melifix again. It did nothing for my fish. I use Canaplex, and they recovered in almost no time. After I quarantined them and everything. But Melifix melted their fins off. And I actually had one straight up die after I used it. So I will never, ever use Melifix again. Ever. But I haven't had any problems with this one so far. The biggest problem I've had is with the bristlenose burrowing under the rock and making everything really gross looking. I have to go in with my little vacuum and I try and vacuum out as much of the dirt. I'm probably going to go back to my larger vacuum because it has, it doesn't have a filter on it. Like, I have this little one that I bought from PetSmart or Petco, one of the two, and it has like a suction pump on it, and I love that because I don't have to like fiddle and get the water in the front part of the tube just right, and I like that one. But with the dirt that I have to like suck off of the plants and off the gravel, because even the littlest current kicks up a whole bunch of dirt at the moment, I have to kind of suction some out, pull the hose out, rinse out the filter, make it so that it comes out, all the dirt and whatnot comes off of the filter, drain the water. It's a process, so I'm just probably going to go back to my larger non-filtered pump. I haven't seen too much growth in the plants besides, well, you're looking at it, there's like a point on this side. These two, the Anacris, I think is what they're called. I'm still not 100% certain on what they're actually named. They're doing really good, but they're super low maintenance, so that's probably why there. Other than that, nothing's really growing that well, oddly enough, and I think part of it is the light that I have. It's from the 10-gallon before I switched to an actual hood to keep the cats off of the tank. Because my cat, Sulu, who is over there, I'm not going to change the webcam to go. He's 20 pounds. Like, I actually weighed him. He is legitimately 20 pounds. And he got it in his head that he could stand on top of the fish tank and broke the glass. So I moved from that LED to like a normal hood that had the thing that flipped up and everything and had cutouts or pop-outs for a filter. And I'm actually considering just keeping this tank open. Like I said, the cats don't mess with it. Sue doesn't really get over there. He's the big one that I don't want to. He's the big reason why I don't want to put like one of those flat glass covers on it, because he will lay on it. Not sure about Aurora. Don't want to risk it. She's significantly lighter. She's only like 7 pounds. Yeah. And the other thing is that the cheap covers that I can find that are just like a sheet of glass and then plastic that you just cut to ship fit, don't really have enough space on the back end for that filter. So I'm probably just going to keep it open and just buy a new light and see if I can't put a cover on the bottom of the light so that it doesn't get splashed back from the filter or anything. But yeah, so that's more or less the update. I'll update after a while and show you if the Boston Tea Party effect has gone away yet, or if something dies. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping to get a bunch of ghost shrimp that might help keep the tank clean. But for the most part, yeah. It's going good. Like, the fish are eating. They seem to very much enjoy it. I have one fish that likes to hide in a particular clump of hair grass that's right up against the glass. I'm thinking about adding a bulb of something like a lily. See if I can't find a lily that will be attached to the ground, because I did have duckweed in there, and that was a mistake. Let's just say there's no more duckweed anymore, and I will not be buying any more for this tank. Anyway, that's that. That's my 1 month update on my dirty tank. Learn from my mistakes. Don't use a bristle nose with one of these. Wash the dirt before you put it in, and take out the wood chips before you put in for your tank, because you will have a lovely, lovely Boston Tea Party recreation, which, from what I understand, is going to last for about 6 months due to the tannins from the wood chips. Yay. I'm just hoping it doesn't stink. I don't know, I can't smell, so yay.